Hey Waffle Gang, I do hope you're well. My name is Mark and today we're checking out some more Reddit stories. And if you do love a Reddit story, why not consider hitting that like, subscribe, maybe that notification bell too. And let's crack on with today's first story. Much love, guys. Now, today's first story comes from Fluffy Half Ali767 from the Am I the Arsehole Here subreddit and says, Am I the arsehole here for being mad that my husband thinks I tricked him with our child's birth certificate? I want to give some backstory to explain where I'm coming from and why the situation is so hurtful for me. My husband and I come from similar backgrounds. Our families were paycheck to paycheck and not many went to college. We both have degrees and make significantly more than the rest of our respective families. When we got married, I was already a homeowner of a small house and had a car. My husband, however, had a lot of debt and his credit was trash. It wasn't his fault. He had significant student loans and had frequently had to help his family members with money. He also has ADHD and had mishandled some bills. I was understanding of his situation, but I was also anxious to help him get debt-free so we can have kids without such burdens over us. He was making $80K and I was making $100K. He moved in with me and we split expenses 50-50, except that he didn't have to pay any rent. I fully covered the mortgage and had home insurance since he's not on the deed, and also paid extra into his debt so he can pay it off early. His car loan is in my name, and I also cover half of that. I do IT technical support, and I got the opportunity to take a job that required 50% travel but paid a lot more. We together decided that I'd do this job for a few years to significantly shore up our savings and pay off a good portion of the debt. I did this job for a little over 2 years till I got pregnant and then took a lower paying job, $120K now, which doesn't require travel. The travel job paid more, but it was so hard on me. I was traveling to the back ends of small towns where the big warehouses and data centers are located, and the job is physically demanding, pulling cables, moving equipment, working in very cold conditions. I was miserable in this job and ended up with some back problems. But it was a sacrifice for our family. When I was 8 months pregnant, my husband asked for a paternity test. It came out of nowhere and I asked him if he didn't trust me. And he said he did, but because I did so much travel, he just needed some assurance for his peace of mind. He said his family and friends have asked him how he could be so sure of this pregnancy when I've been out of the home for so many nights. It really broke my heart that I did so much for this man and didn't try to protect my assets or my money, and he treats me like this. I got very hormonal and cried about it, so he stopped pressuring me then. Now our son is 3 months old and he's back at it again. He's put his foot down that I need to have the paternity test done and he won't sign the birth certificate otherwise. I told him his name is already on the birth certificate because we are married and I did the paperwork before they discharged us at the hospital. He didn't realize that would be the case and is furious at me thinking that I tricked him. So here I am, stuck married to a man who not only doesn't love me or trust me, but is an idiot. His family is calling me and pressuring me to let him do the test. My family is offended on my behalf, but some mutual friends are saying a test is not a big deal. But it's such a slap in the face after all I've done for him. Am I wrong for how I'm feeling? I always find it weird when friends, family, or whoever it is in the situation say, oh, the test is not a big deal, and not think about the thought process behind it, how that's going to come across to Opie in this situation, that he doesn't trust her, that she's done something behind his back. And I know there's people in the background poking at him, telling her, oh, she must be doing something, she's away so many nights, etc., etc. But he also knows her job, he knows what she has to do. And Opie's right to feel offended by this. I'd feel offended by this, especially after everything Opie has done for him so far. A lot of comments I've seen before in the past say paternity test should happen like after the birth anyway, just as like a standard thing. Which, why not tits? 420 says. Not the arsehole, but I just don't see why you don't do the test. I personally think they should always do paternity tests at the hospital after the birth. I'm not saying you cheated or you ever would, but it happens a lot. You'd be surprised how often men find out they're raising other people's kids. Opie says a lot of people do a lot of things, but our relationship was supposed to be built on trust. and that's why I took a lot of financial risks for him. If he had set out at the beginning saying his trust is conditional, then okay, I wouldn't have been surprised by this. But he is okay with me paying so much for him and just trusting that he won't cheat on me or divorce me and leave me exploited. But he doesn't have to trust me in turn. How is that fair? And if he had discussed any of this before I got pregnant, that would have been a different situation and I probably wouldn't have reacted to this negatively. But to put this on me when I'm about to give birth, that makes me not trust him in turn. What do I get out of letting him insult me like this? SV Paladin says info. You said he has financially supported his family. How has said support been of late? On the standard venture, the answer is less than parents would like since the marriage and debt paying began in earnest. Before you go full hog into the whole stuck married to a man who not only doesn't love me or trust me but is an idiot, consider and confirm that the extent of his idiocy is confined to listening to parents who see their financial rescuer, educated son, not just slowing down the rescues to pay off debt, but now stopping to have money for a baby. Remember what he said when he asked the first time. It wasn't as much a matter of trust in you, but that his family and friends have planted enough doubts in him that he needed or wanted the assurance of his peace of mind. Parents that have financial reasons to be major asses and question the trust in your fidelity. Who knows how many times he stood up for you until their relentless pressures and inability to prove a negative to their liking has caused him to cave, while now being fed the follow-up. Of course she's not giving you the test. She's got something to hide. OP replies saying, yes, that has been a problem. One of the major dings on his credit report is because he co-signed a used car loan for his brother, who then flaked on making payments because it got too expensive to maintain that car. He helps out with his parents' medical bills and phone bills regularly, and also pitches in when they run short of money for other bills. I don't stop him from that, but we've had arguments about him contributing for parties or vacations for them. There was a major fallout from his refusal to co-sign another sibling's rental application. He's fought his family directly though. He didn't use me as a scapegoat or blame me. I don't think. Julian X 1984 says hand him the test results with divorce papers. Sheesh, what do women see in men like that makes them so irresistible that they pay tens of thousands of dollars for the privilege of taking care of him? No sex can be that good. OP says I saw him as a kind man who worked hard and took care of his family. I expect him to show the same loyalty to me since I am now his family. I thought I was doing my part, helping him out where he was vulnerable, and in turn, I thought I'd have his support. Abject Director says not the arsehole. Why hasn't he already paid to have the test himself? He's that lazy and incompetent. And that's your fault somehow. I'd also tell him he gets to pay 100% of his car loan because clearly you need to be saving money for security. OP says, when he first brought it up, I was 8 months pregnant, so need my participation for the test. Now the baby is always attached to me, so maybe he didn't think he could do it without my noticing. He could have waited a year or so, but I guess patience for my sake is too much to ask. So then OP came in with their update and said, in my previous post here I asked about how to deal with my husband wanting a paternity test. We did the test and got the expected results. He wanted to get one that has legal validity, not a home test. It was a lot more expensive and he paid for it. We had to use the agency to swab samples and maintain a chain of custody. I was surprised and bothered that he had this planned, but he covered the high price and it'd be in my interest to have a clear, indisputable legal trail. So we went and did that. He's been over the moon happy since I agreed to do this, and I resent his happiness. He got the STI panel done and that was clean too. He was surprised by my request but didn't argue about it. He said it's just a test, no big deal. He was a lot more weirded out about a post-nup and flat out refused to cooperate there. I gave up on that because I consulted a lawyer and I can't get much from that anyway. Whatever I've spent on him and his debt is gone and I can't expect anything back. And we're in a community property state. We argued a lot about separating finances with him accusing me of trying to control him using money. He pointed out that we're a couple of years away from him becoming debt-free, and if I leave it all on him, then it'll take him 5+ years. He still does not understand how his showing a lack of trusting me is comparable. He kept arguing that if he were the one with more money, he'd have spent it on me, and for me to use this now makes me a bad partner. He came around and agreed to contributing more to bills after seeing how much my family has turned cold towards him. I'm close to my family and they have loved him, but this has made them upset at him. My little sister was outright rude to him, which really got to him. He is the middle child and was frequently teased and bullied by his siblings. My sister was the only relative who loved him like an older brother and doted on him. My words and arguments didn't move him, but he got upset about her icing him out. So now he'll be paying for his own car and contributing to insurance and covering his debt by himself. Still no rent because he simply can't afford it. I wasn't going to ask him to stop supporting his parents, and after all that, there's nothing in his bucket. I wasn't thinking divorce when I wrote the post, and I still don't want it. But I feel like I'm falling out of love with this man. Like the scales have fallen from my eyes, and all his faults that I had minimized before stand out glaringly. My mother is fully on my side, but she has advised me not to make any quick decisions. I don't know what I'm going to do. He's trying to be a helpful and a good partner, but it feels like an act. Straight Paper says on the back of this one, OP can't get back her time, health, or money back, but she can make sure not to waste it on him anymore. The best case is the husband is taking OP for granted. The more likely case is that he's repeating the patterns of being used by family members in his own household. OP should follow the 180 method, or whatever the other guy in another Boru post. Have a frank discussion about what she has sacrificed to support and enable him financially. How badly he hurts her by listening to everyone's opinions but hers regarding the entire situation. Keep the finances separate and live as roommates while co-parenting with the children. If he wants to reconcile, he needs to go to marriage counseling and individual therapy. And one more comment from Dashan Mum, who says, in quotes, "My words and arguments didn't move him, but he got upset about her icing him out," and then says, "He doesn't respect you. He doesn't care about your feelings. He cares more about his relationship with your sister than you, because he sees you as nothing but a doormat." And quotes again saying he's trying to be helpful and a good partner, but it feels like an act. And then says, "Because it is. He's still using you. He's playing nice so he can keep using you. So you will keep being compliant and he gets away with treating you like shit." And quotes again saying, "I wasn't thinking divorce when I wrote the post. I still don't want it." And then says, "Why? How much does he have to do to show you how little you mean to him? That your money is the only thing of value? And apparently, your sister." Some people saying about his parents have obviously got their claws in and they can see the money drying up their end, so that's why they're putting these doubts in his mind, and he's bringing them to the table with OP. Does it excuse it? Of course not, but a potential reason. And always with these stories, this is just what's going on in my head. I don't know how you would move past that lack of trust like that. You have to live with this person day to day who's just come out with this accusation and then wants everything to just go back to normal once he's got his way. And then on top in the update, the argument about separating finances, accusing you of controlling him using money, and then coming out with, "Oh, it's going to take him 5+ years if you separate finances." And of course, if he had the money, he would be piling it on you. But it makes you a bad partner not to now. It just feels like doubling down. Like you'd have thought he would have been like, "No, I fucked up here. Let's get some counseling or something. You separate finances, whatever makes you feel comfortable in this moment, etc." But it just feels like he's doubling down to me. But now I'm going to turn this one to you guys. What do you guys make of this situation? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. Let's move on to another story. Now our next story comes from the Am I the Arsehole subreddit from ArseholeThrowaway190, who says, "Am I the arsehole for not sending younger daughter to private school? Really wondering if I'm the arsehole in this situation or just being reasonable with finances. Thanks in advance for help. I have 2 daughters, Abby and Sarah. Abby is 2 years older than Sarah and is incredibly diligent, hardworking, and intelligent. She is a sophomore in high school where she excels in all her subjects in school and is in honors and higher level, junior/senior classes. She attends a private school where we pay a pretty hefty tuition. But it was obvious to me and my wife in our middle school years that she would do great there. So we bit the bullet and paid. She has proven us right in every regard. Sarah is in the 8th grade and has already begun to excitedly talk about how excited she is about the art program at the private school her sister attends. Sarah has a beautiful heart and is one of the kindest people I know. She is also very talented at art. The program at our local public high school is good as well. She is not as diligent or hardworking as Abby is or was at Sarah's age, and can be a bit of a slacker when it comes to STEM. She does alright in English and history, about average. Yesterday we sat down with Sarah and explained to her that the private school was not a good fit for her like it was for Abby, and we're not going to be sending her there. She immediately burst into tears, saying she knew we didn't love her as much, think she was talented, etc. We assured her time and time again that we did love her. We thought she was very smart and talented, but simply would not fit in at the private school, which is full of straight-A students. She asked if we could look into more arts-orientated programs for her, and we told her no, because we simply do not see the same ratio of monetary value to educational value. Abby is essentially guaranteed a spot in the Ivies, while Sarah would be better suited for an art school, which we do plan to pay for after she graduates high school. She told us we did not value her, preferred her older sister, etc. Abby overheard all of this and is siding with her sister, saying she will refuse to go to the private school again in the fall unless Sarah is with her. My wife and I are certain they are being melodramatic teenage girls. Am I the arsehole here? So the first commenter on this one said, "You're the arsehole, a giant, gaping, bleeding arsehole. Both your daughters are correct. As someone who was and then there was the accident, growing up, don't do this. Your oldest will view you both as morons, and your youngest will carry the scar deep for the rest of her life." Another commenter says, "My sister has always been smarter in school and better at learning in general. We were never sent to different schools or given a different upbringing by our parents. They are proud of the both of us, but I learn at a slower pace than she does and study tourism, whereas my sister has graduated her master's in law. I already feel bad about this sometimes, all due to my own thoughts, let alone if my parents had added to these thoughts by actively showing I was doing worse and not worth the same as my sister when it comes to education. Major arsehole, OP. Cut this behavior out before you permanently damage your child's confidence and trust in you." Psycho Mini says, "You're the arsehole. The world would be a very depressing place if everyone was in STEM. Just because their talents lie outside of guaranteed Ivies doesn't mean they don't have intrinsic value and shouldn't be nurtured." I can't comment too much on this because I don't know too much about the educational system there, and all I know is that I've heard Ivy League is like a very difficult place to get into. However, there was one comment that really jumped out to me when you spoke to Sarah and you sat her down and tried to have a conversation, and she immediately burst into tears, saying she knew we didn't love her as much and think she was as talented, etc. So I kind of wonder what else she's overheard, has been said to her, compared her to her sister, that's made her feel this way. Clearly she's picked up on this vibe from somewhere. However, I do agree with the "you're the arsehole" comments. But a day later, Opie came in and said, "I don't know if there's generally updates here, but the amount of aggressive and angry messages I received, thanks, showed me that if people are passionate about a stranger, then I must be a bigger jerk than I thought. I still do not see the other side of the situation and think I'm correct, but this is bigger than me, and I decided it's not worth it to lose a relationship with my daughter on the off chance that they are right." My wife encouraged me to look into art programs for Sarah, saying she did not want to take the back seat on this one since Sarah spent most of the night crying to Mum. I've apologized to both of them, as well as Abby, and agreed to send her to private school as well. I still think it is low merit, so I told Sarah she could attend the arts-orientated program on the condition she also utilized the other resources, STEM, English, etc. at the school. Thank you for the constructive feedback, some of you. And boy howdy, the comments weren't happy. Evil Queen says, "How do you still not see the other side of this? 100 people have laid it out for you 100 different ways. And just so you know, if your attitude towards Sarah continues to remain unchanged, as it seems it will, you'll cause long-lasting problems for her and your family, even if you send her to the private school. This is more than the school. It's about your underlying feelings about your daughter's worth. Bagels and Juice says he's already done that. His daughter knows he didn't give a damn about her, and she's going to carry that weight forever. This dude better hope his daughter can forgive him. He's probably going to do some other preferential shit down the road that's going to destroy his relationship with his daughter. Your friendly Spidey says, and quotes, I still don't see the other side, and says, I'll spell it out for you. You put a monetary value on your children, with one worth several thousands and one worth nothing. You showed which child you value more in the most blatant way imaginable. But now I'm going to turn this one to you guys. What do you guys make of this situation? A lot of people think this is going to go wrong further down the road, but what do you guys think? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. And just a huge thank you for being here today, getting involved in the stories. Your love, your support, your time always means the absolute world to me. So thank you so much for being involved, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Take care and much love.